committee file, I'll retrieve the contract committee approvals. In my file, I have the copies of the evaluations, which I have. So it was just not enough time to pick the different copies from the different originals to have them together. But if you ask me where the evaluation reports, I do have them with me here. Where is the terms of reference document? I have them here. If we had enough time, we could submit them to you.
So who do I believe? Because the company secretary says all the documents were taken by the IGG. So you're saying you have some copies?
No, what I'm saying to say the contract document, because there's that contract file that we'll keep in procurement, which is always a reference. Then, as a member, if I was a member of the contracts committee and I participated, I have to pick a copy on there. As the user department, I should have something in my file. Okay, so everywhere where my signature is, I do have those copies. But now, because we could not, otherwise, like for the Oracle file, what we did, we just got the file, photocopied the entire thing, and wrote it. But it would be very unserious if we brought it into partiality, because it's going to raise other questions. So if at all we had enough time, we could have copied everything and added it together.
So you're saying it would have been unserious to bring
partial.
Just partial, and you think it's very serious to come with nothing?
No. Excuse me, Chair. That wasn't the intention of my submission.
Okay, let's admit this. But let's have those partials as well. Whatever document is available.
Okay. All right.
Let's have it. But going forward, you guys just need to be a little more organized. When you have original documents, photocopy everything. Yeah, photocopy or scan. If the issue is paper, scan and have a backup somewhere. Because what now this tells me is, if you lose these documents or something happens, then you don't have them. If an employee is fired and they get annoyed, they carry the documents away, you don't have copies of them. I think it's problematic. Yeah, because how do you get to defend yourself? Let's imagine someone takes you to court and the documents were lost somehow. You can't defend yourselves. So I think you should get a bit more organized. As Uganda Airlines, photocopy all your documents, you know, and back them up somewhere. I saw whose microphone was on. Okay, let's get the other documents.
That issue. I think of an airline to allege that documents of such a nature are either lost with no trace, or each officer is in custody of part of the documents. It is so revealing. Either it is intentional not to submit the documents, because if they submit it to the IGG, I believe there is no way an entity can fail to keep a copy within its files and records. That's number one. Two, how come he had some of the copies? Because I saw him forwarding a file with some of the copies, and he had them in the bag. Now, we are dealing with an institution where each officer comes on his or her own, and we are purporting to be hosting an entity called Uganda Airlines. He came with the documents in his bag, part of them, and he must be aware who has the others. Probably the one with the other documents is also here. So the legal person did not even know, as the corporation secretary, that these documents actually exist, and one of his officers actually has them. He was saying he's not in possession, they are with the IGG, and hereby you raising that, who should you believe? It's a question of honesty. They are being dishonest in terms of sharing information and rightful information with this committee, and I think, Chair, you should reprimand them to produce these documents. They have them. They cannot say they don't have this documentation. How does that the airline operate? You may find that even they don't have a list of pilots. So, Chair, we need to be emphatic on this. We reprimand them to produce them. As the committee is proceeding, one can go and pick the rest of the documents. Otherwise, to say that they are taken one office, or some officers are having part of the documents, is a lie according to the way I'm seeing things here. So Chair, I think you should not forget this point. We need these documents for evidential value, so that we come up with a fair assessment of the whole institution.
Okay, let me give you on Saturdays. But of course, the airline operates Sunday to Monday. Can you avail those documents tomorrow?
Chair, I think you should assign one because they don't know who should answer.
Let me assign the accounting officer. She's responsible for her team. Yeah. So please endeavor to see to it that those documents are brought here tomorrow. I don't know how. I don't know who you will task. But it is your team. I shouldn't be picking who, because for us we hold the accounting officer accountable. So please task your team, whoever, to avail those documents tomorrow, so that this team does not become suspicious, because now they're thinking, what are you hiding? So let's avail those documents. Okay? You were making other submissions.
These are the documents.
Come again? These are procurements for what?
Those are the contracts committee and evaluation documents for the Oracle ERP document you have on the file, the big file.
Okay.
Chairman, this is the schedule of the charters for the last 3 years.
Who are these people? I'm seeing payment date, charter routing, the amount, and then the bank account and the bank.
We have a list of the contracts commitment task force type it was also asked for. Finally, we have the summary of
I was still on this. Because we agreed yesterday that you'll give us not individual names, but whether it be departments or whatever, who these clients are. Because how do I, if it's a question of holding you accountable, what do I ascertain here? Madam CEO, do you want to answer, or any of your people to answer?
Honorable Company Secretary will answer the question.
Okay, Mr. Company Secretary, after taking water, please answer. He's asking, I answer what? So yesterday, we talked about the charters. Yeah, and we said give us the entire schedule. We wanted, as we said, we don't want you to tell me Joel Senyonyi, except if Senyonyi hired it on his own. But if it's a department or an agency or whatever, that's all we wanted to know.
Yes, honorable members, as an operator, we have concerns on an obligation under the disclosure agreement, non-disclosure of information of clients under the IATA convention. So, however, it is not an absolute right. There is an exception. Such an organ of government or auditors, when they want this information, you can give them this information. But we want civil indemnities because the method of procedure here is public. So this information is, when you pass it on to it, is kept in confidence to the committee. Because it can affect business.
Okay, so you have the information here and you want to give it to us later after the media is gone, right, in camera?
Yes, that's our request.
Okay, but I'm hoping you have it.
Yes, it is available.
Okay, we will get it, no problem.
Chair, for the Committee of Parliament has powers of the High Court. Two, we are dealing with matters of evidential value to an investigation, and the rules of procedure are very clear that proceedings of the House can be captured in media, save for rare exceptions, but they should be open. Now, the nature of information allegedly being advanced by the Corporation Secretary has not been proved to be classified. You cannot just allege, IATA, allege. We need clear proof that that kind of evidence is exempt and will preempt your disclosure process, and produce also copies of those agreements. Otherwise, it remains plain. And Chair, as if I'm observing something, this whole team is not working together. Maybe they are failing the airline boss as well, or they are fighting her. So they have the information. We squeeze one person, they refuse to answer. But the why is so, because he had documents, for example, the Corporation Secretary wasn't aware. There's a bigger issue to address within the airline in terms of maybe even all these are not qualified. Or they are not competent. There's a way they go to corrupt, explains why they are failing each other. So if this evidence is classified, we need classical proof that such is classified. What are those agreements you have? He just used a phrase, it is a violation.
So on, where did you quote it from?
These companies belongs to all of us, and we all have responsibility to
Don't give us a lecture. Quote for me the law.
Yes,
We don't want a lecture. Mr. Visereko,
yes,
please don't give us a pep talk.
the two agreements.
Just a second. So what you quoted is what we want, and then we move on. I'm not even pushing to have it displayed here for the media and so on. I just want on record what you have quoted within the law. So don't give us a lecture of these companies for all of us. We must protect it. You know, that's what we are doing, and that's why we want you guys to run this airline the right way. That's why we want the thuggery to stop. So we don't want a lecture, sir.
Most obliged Chairman, the International Air Transport Association, to which we are a member, all airline operators and members are obliged to observe non-disclosure agreements, and those include disclosure of customers. But as I said, non-disclosure agreements don't exclude, like a committee like this one, or an entity like Parliament, and the Auditor General, from accessing this information. But since the method of operation here is public, we have the media, so we want this protection with your involvement, that this information be given to you, and you also handle it in confidence. have it.
Okay, no problem. So just for clarity, for those that probably were not around, Uganda Airlines, the aircraft, and so wanted to establish how that happens, aside from the usual kwa ujumla, everybody, but somebody says, I want to charter. Sometimes they said it is government, they said sometimes it is State House, they said sometimes it is different people, and wanted that information. So if you want to provide it away from the cameras, that's okay. Let's move. Any other documents you want to submit at this point?
Chairman, that is all.
Okay. So yesterday you gave me a volume of documents. I took time to read them through the night. And there's one or two things I discovered that I thought we would just flash out. Firstly, regarding Abavata, the figure we're talking about of money that was paid to them is not just 540,000 US dollars. Wanted to make sure the record is clear, because you only told us 540,000 US dollars, but the documents which you gave me, and I took time to read, the total was 897,285 US dollars. Yeah, 897,000 US dollars. The total, when you convert to Uganda shillings, that's about 3.48 billion. So I just wanted that to be on record. That's the total amount that was paid to Abavata, not just the 540,000. Yeah, this is the document you people gave me. It's not one of those I get using my own ways. So I hope we are on the same page. If I am saying something that's not correct, you can correct me, Madam CEO and your team. Yes, Madam CEO. Still regarding Abavata, Madam Jennifer, yesterday you told us that you did not participate in the evaluation, right?
Right.
Yeah, but I took time to read this evaluation report, and you gave scores. So you people were scoring a couple of things regarding Abavata. That's the three of you on this evaluation committee. You just get the names. Patrick Omony Okima was the interim head procurement and disposal unit. Joseph Seboa, manager human resources, and then Jennifer Bamuturaki, director commercial. That's the evaluation committee. So yesterday you said that you were not invited for the meetings. But then this document here, you were rating Abavata, all of you, giving marks. One of the things you rated was the PR consultant and team leader, and the evaluation was out of 25%. Yeah, out of 25 generally. Patrick Omony Okema gave 20. Joseph Seboa gave 19. Jennifer Bamuturaki gave the highest for this one, 21 out of 25. The other issue was creative director. You were making assessments of all of these. And this you were giving out of 20. Patrick gave 18. Joseph Seboa 18. Jennifer Bamuturaki 17 out of 20. Then the media director out of 15. Patrick gave 13. Seboa gave 11, Jennifer 12. Digital communications out of 5, all of you gave 5. So maybe if you can help me interpret this, because these are documents that you people gave me, and I took time to read through. So just take a look at what I have just read.
Honorable, I know this document because we wrote it yesterday, but like I mentioned, requesting you to come and be part of the evaluation. That's how it is. And you're given a date and a time. We don't have that email sent because it was never sent. Secondly, if you notice this document, it's signed by one person. I cannot speak for who signed because I know very clearly I wasn't part of that evaluation team. I wasn't there on that day. So I don't even know who did the ratings.
So what you're saying is that this is a forgery.
Well, it
The
has
document
a
that you
signature,
people gave me.
but it has a signature, so that person will be able to explain something. But he's no longer.
No, so I'm talking about in as far as the ratings are concerned, because there's ratings which supposedly were given by yourself. So you're saying that was forged, right?
I would like to say that whoever signed it must have filled it, but sir, I didn't because I wasn't there.
So in other words, it's a forgery. Because if it's not a forgery, then you're admitting it to be correct, then it is you who gave these marks.
No, I did not give the marks.
Procedure Chair.
Yes, point of procedure.
You're saying, Madam CEO, you're saying you don't know it. And yet, you have brought it to the committee. So, it is, I'm wondering whether, if you know the person who signed the document, whether that person should not be arrested for forgery and taken to a civil prison and or be given a criminal summons. As long as you are aware that as long as you are aware of the name of the person that signed that document, where we are talking about an evaluation and maybe some people are alleging that there was foul play in the evaluation process, and then you're saying the person who signed for you are not aware, and so, but you know the person. So is that person who signed here among your staff here, or is not here?
Thank you, Honorable. The gentleman who signed the document is not with Uganda Airlines anymore.
So maybe what Honorable Roland is trying to bring to the fore, because you gave me these documents yourself yesterday. This evaluation is what led to the awarding, well, among other things, the awarding of Abavata this contract worth 3.48 billion shillings. But you see, from the word go, there were issues. Direct procurement, they were just handpicked, and so on and so forth. And even the evaluation has got issues. So what did you do as CEO? Because you are accounting officer, if documents were forged, because that's what it means. You have denied that you did give these marks, and yet the marks are on the documents which you gave me. It would be different if this is a document I got from my own sources, but this is a document you gave me yesterday showing that you gave marks, and you are denying, you're saying you didn't give any marks. So meaning the person who did it committed an illegality. What have you as Uganda Airlines and you as CEO? Because now you are in personal conduct as an individual, but also as the head of the entity. What have you done about this?
Honorable, if you notice the other documents we've given you that have evaluation reports and contracts committee reports, they are fully fledged. The evaluation team is fledged. It's noted. They have an email inviting. They have signed the minutes. So there's a process now on how we do things.
Okay. As the vice comes in, you're saying there's a process now. That's okay. I'm not talking about the now. You know, maybe at some point we shall interrogate the now and how it's happening. We are talking about the then.
The then, like I said, sir, I was not at that evaluation.
Yeah. No, but see, my question, okay, let's say I believe you that you were not part of the evaluation.
Yes.
Yeah? But your name is included. Ideally, you were part of the evaluation committee, but you're saying you were not invited to the meeting. However, this shows that the meetings happened and that you participated and you gave marks. You have denied that. That's okay. My question is, what have you done about this as a leader first you were commercial director, then last year for over a year you have been acting CEO, now you are CEO. So you have these documents, things that were forged in your name. It's like somebody forging your signature. I want you to think that should move you to do something as a leader. Because what that means, because eventually money was released, 3.48 billion shillings, based on a forgery. So what is bothering me is that you didn't think you needed to do something. Maybe you didn't think you needed to do something, you can say that too. But me, I'm thinking, maybe you should have taken some action. Is there any action you took?
I don't understand the question.
Let me first rephrase to her my question, because she says she doesn't understand it. This document which you gave me yesterday is an evaluation report. It shows that Jennifer Bamuturaki was part of the evaluation committee that approved the contract that was given to Abavata, the 3.48 billion shillings contract. You are saying, and you said yesterday, you did not attend the meeting, even though you were a member of the evaluation committee. The document you gave me has got marks which were given by you, according to the document you gave me, yeah, which were given by you, evaluating Abavata, and you gave it a green light. However, you're saying you're not the one who gave these marks. Somebody else filled in these marks. Now, in filling in all of these marks and this evaluation happening, Abavata was given a contract worth 3.48 billion shillings. Now that you're saying you did not give these marks, somebody else just filled in, for me, that is fraud. I don't know what it is to you. It is fraud, because if your marks were not in here, then this company would not have gotten the contract. But your marks are in. Now that you're saying you did not participate, think about it like somebody forging your signature and then they get money out of the entity. What would you do? Let me use that example. Somebody forges your signature. If your signature is the one that eventually causes the release of money, either singularly or one of the signatures, without which money is not released, and someone forges your signature, what would you do about that incident?
Honorable, that document doesn't have my signature. Forged or real? So in the event that my signature is not there, I'm unable to tell you what I would have done. My signature is not there.
I've given you a hypothetical
But
question.
My signature is
Okay,
not
forget
there,
the signature. Your marks are here.
No, I did not fill that document.
Okay, somebody else filled
Honorable
it.
Chair, I think
So now that somebody else filled it, which was illegal, because it was on that basis that the contract was given, that all the three evaluation committee members gave marks, and then the company passed. So it was done without your consent. Have you done anything about it?
I will ask my legal, Mr. Seriko, to respond to you the legalities of an evaluation report that is not signed.
Before Mr. Bisereko comes in, it is you singularly. Now I'm not even talking to you as accounting officer. Yeah? It is you as somebody whom you're saying something was forged, as if it is you who did it. Okay? And I'm saying, okay, let me believe you. Let me believe you that you're not the one who gave these marks. Somebody just filled in. What have you done about it? Because they used your name. And these are documents you gave me. Is it clear now?
Chair. Honorable Chair.
Let the vice add, then I'll come.
Madam Jennifer, the issue is very simple. Your file which is submitted, it has your name. And forever it will go in the company's history and record that Jennifer was on the committee that passed this money that went to Abavata. Doesn't it bother you that your name is reflected, it's reflected somewhere and you do nothing about it? What was your reaction? How did you react seeing your name on something you never did? That is really the simple question. What did you do to clear your name Did you write a letter somewhere to say, no, I was not part of this, I can't be part of this? So this is really that we want to see what action did you take when you discovered your name was on a document that does not reflect what exactly you did. As simple as that.
Chair, further clarification. Chair, further clarification.
Let's have Honorable Kamba, Honorable Nancy, then I'll come to Honorable Hashim. I'll come that way. But let's keep it very short because we have said.
On that note, she's simplifying work for us. She's telling you, committee, look here, there was a procurement without a valid supporting document. The supporting document that backed this procurement was a forged document. I thank you for doing that for us. However, on another note, you are a CEO. You have a document in your records. Which document supported a procurement that led to expenditure of over 3.4 billion shillings. From the word go, that procurement is null and void. It's not a proper procurement. It has no supporting document that is valid. So the question on the table is, are you comfortable that there's a procurement document that supported such an expenditure, which procurement has a supporting document that is doctored and it has your name mentioned as having been part of that committee? You as a CEO, what have you done to clear your name? As simple as that. If you have not done anything, say, be open, say, this is an oversight on my side, I should have done something. If you have not done something, again, it's not too late. Because you can't keep such a record which is doctored to have supported such a huge expenditure worth 3.4 billion, and you're an accounting officer, you just fold your hands and say they should not ask you. That's not good. So the question is very simple. Just be open to the committee. I beg to request.
Okay, Honorable Nancy, let's make it very quick.
Thank you,
We
Chair.
have many other issues.
Photo table that has her name is not authentic. I want to ask a simple question, that can you avail the committee with an authentic evaluation report paper that has signatures and names of those who sat during the evaluation to give that contract to Abavate? Otherwise, as a committee, we may think that this letter you're telling us is forged, it is true, and yet you might have not committed any crime. Can you avail an authentic letter that has all the signed signatures for those who sat in that evaluation process to give the contract to Abavate, which is different from this one?
No, she has been honest. She has given us what is available, and in our opinion, that document is not authentic. Thank you for being honest.
Okay, Honorable Hashim.
Yes, we are talking about now. Are you the one who submitted?
It was submitted by my Director of Finance
You submitted?
yesterday by my Director of Finance.
So you are the one who submitted. Why did you submit it?
That's what we have, sir.
Why?
That's what we have in our documents.
That's what you have.
Yes, sir.
But now, did you read it before you submitted? Didn't you read through it?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes.
So, how do you start disowning what you submitted yourself to the committee chair? Now you are the very person disowning the document you submitted, the document you know the content, and you're disowning. How does that come? So I want to say that, Chair, there is no doctored document here. A document cannot be doctored and submitted by the very person whom the document is doctored about, and now the person starts disowning the document. I think that is irrelevant. That cannot happen. Okay? So, Jennifer, I don't know how you want us to help you. Because I want to tell you the truth. I want to repeat what I said the other time, that we are here not to wish hunt you. We are here even to help you, by the way. So helping you means that you should tell us the facts and the truth, and you should submit right documents. First of all, at least if it was somebody else who submitted this document without your knowledge and without you knowing it, not knowing the content in the document, then at least we shall have a fair nini for you. But now you are the very person who submitted the document, and now you even confirm that you knew what was in the document, and you know, then you are the very person disowning the document, then it leaves a lot to be desired. It leaves a lot to be desired. Thank you.
Okay, Honorable Nekesa.
Chair, thank you, Chair. I've heard all the submissions, so I came a bit late, I'm Nekesa. Chair, acting, the former acting or whatever, the finance officer, you knew all this, and the secretary to the company, something for it has been kept in a file and handed over to the CEO to present to a committee. I mean, can you also look into yourselves what you could an omission or commission to hold something that you know was maybe fault or maybe not right, and you're handing over her to her. Maybe she's so busy, but you are her counter, you know, you have her workers, you her subjects. I really think you should also look into yourselves, Chair. Let's look at those two, secretary and the finance officer who are involved in this, and maybe the archives put that here at all. Something's wrong, and you hold it until the last day to submit to a committee for almost over 1.5 years. Chair, that's my submission. Thank you.
If this one lies in that criteria for selection using, for procurement using the direct method. Number two, this one is a misprocurement, because if the evaluation team is denying that they ever evaluated that procurement, automatically it becomes a misprocurement. So to me, I think the recommendation on this is very clear, that this is a misprocurement. And if it is possible, because Jennifer is denying the documents, we can also invite the person whom she claims that signed the document to understand if actually it is true that she never participated in the evaluation process. Because the way it is now, there we can infer like three things. Number one, that there was fraud and forgery, or forging of the document. That's number one. Number two, we can infer that although she's trying to deny, in actual sense she participated, but she thinks that her participation causes dire consequences to her, which to me I think she should, in her heart she knows what exactly happened. But as a committee, I think we also have a responsibility to understand, to put together all the information and understand the procedures. Thirdly, and lastly on this point, there could be so many other, because this is just one, there could be so many other procurements of this nature, and therefore, to me, our recommendation should be that we institute a forensic audit on the airline to get all the information out, because it seems there is a lot of things that are happening which we may not get from just getting this, reading this Auditor General's report. I beg to submit, Chair.
Okay.
Let's just say, on the look of things, of course, we've seen that the accounting officer is giving excuses, especially when she's trapped. You'll hear her say, we used to have them, but these ones are no longer with us. I don't think that's enough justification to exonerate herself, because we need to, the company is existing, it can be sued and it can also sue. What action did you take? Because you cannot tell us that you, who was in charge of that docket, a contract of 4-point-something billion, where you are supposed to be directly involved, and you are not involved, and it comes to pass, you supervise the implementation of that contract, and you say after today your signature was forged, and you did not raise an alarm.
it really doesn't make sense. Madam Accounting Officer, I don't know what to say, but we need to inform you that you are the accounting officer now. Whatever happens in that institution, you are entirely responsible. Issues of saying it's not me who did that, it doesn't work in the public service. Standing orders. I thank you, Chair.
Yes, in forging her signature in awarding marks, I want to know whether at the time of submitting that document, Madam Jennifer put a disclaimer that, Chair, I'm submitting this document, but my signature was forged. Did she do that? Then the other question, yesterday we did ask the Director of Finance about the invoicing, the over-invoicing of the document, of the invoice. And the Chair, my sources indicate that over-invoicing and many other things led to the interdiction of Madame Jennifer. So after the interdiction, Chair, I don't know whether you are following me. That same thing,
please go ahead.
That same thing of the report that you are reading led to the interdiction of Madame Jennifer. And later she was brought back by the President. Can she tell us what happened and why she was later set free to again bounce back as the CEO? Maybe after that they put another committee that found her maybe free. Maybe she can tell us what happened exactly. Because I understand that same thing is what led to her interdiction.
Honorable Baka.
Okay. I had a reason why I posed that question. Chair, at first I was convinced by Honorable Kamba when he was saying it seemed the evaluation report that you have was doctored. But then my colleague here posed a very simple question to Madame Jennifer. Did you read it? She said yes. Did you submit it? She said yes. That is enough. If there is any forgery or doctoring of your signature or awarding of marks, that is the stage where we would have said, on reading it, I found that that was not mine. And there is a point she mentioned, by the way, that when she was going to forward it, I got it from the Director of Finance. Finance, you heard that statement. Would you please tell us why you deliberately gave Jennifer a doctored document and you do not even allow her to read through properly so that she's caught in a bad book? Yes, you may be here when you are having your own internal fights and laughing and smiling, fighting each other, but not knowing that we are going to get you as a team, not Jennifer alone. And I want to make it clear, Chair, this what I'm reading the social medias, I don't know, Chair, is being haunting Jennifer and what have you. No, this is a committee doing its work. In fact, you are letting Ugandans down. Your answers and the way you respond is how we come to you. We are getting all these answers and questions from you. We don't formulate them. You just after getting out, you know the committees against us, but you were the one telling us how to deal with you. And we are continuing dealing with you. I submit.
You were directly the one working with Abavata, supervising them and then giving a report. You were the contract manager. I personally think it should have bothered you, if at all, these marks were forged and they were not yours. You should have raised an alarm, which you did not do. You didn't raise the alarm. These guys got hired, and you were the one managing their contract. That bothers me. But also, I have an email here, which was written by yourself to the then CEO, Cornwell Molea. This was Monday, September 16th, 2019, at 1:56 p.m. I'll not read the whole of it, it's a lengthy one. Herein, you were vouching for Abavata when Mr. Molea wanted to terminate the contract and so on and so forth of Abavata, raising all the issues that he did. I'll read some excerpts. So in paragraph 3, you say, I also mentioned that there was sabotage to cancel the contract of Abavata based on frivolous claims. This was you making a case for Abavata. There's also where you say, the procurement was done through a direct bidding process and all necessary precautions put into consideration based on your advice that the process should be done right by the annexures attached to the contract. I did not say the contracting process was a mess as a result of these interested parties, but informed you that the interested parties were trying to influence the contract to meet their interests. Reputable agencies, Stalio and WMC Africa, were invited to bid, and all had international airline experience. Scanad was not invited because they handle KQ, which would be direct competition, etc., etc. And the contract had not been reviewed by Air Uganda, a couple of issues. And then you say it's on this background that I preferred an agency experienced with aviation and not too busy to manage our young airline that requires a lot of allocated time during the setup process. Did you write this? You remember? Okay. For me, what this tells me, you are making, first of all, you admit that you were part of the process, according to this, but you also admit that you influenced the process because you said it's on this background that I preferred an agency experienced with aviation and not too busy to manage our young airline that requires a lot of allocated time during the setup process. So that was you saying, I prefer Abavata. You have admitted that this is an email you wrote, yeah?
Can I explain?
Just a second, let me finish. So, in this email, you have explained that, one, let's not cancel the contract of Abavata. You're making a case for them. You're showing a background, how they were brought on board, and why you preferred them. What I just read. And here towards the end, you say, I advise that Abavata be allowed to complete their contractual period, and we invite them to meet with you, the CEO, and recommend areas of improvement as provided for in the provisions of the contract. So, firstly, you have said this is an email that you wrote, and you want to explain. Explain.
First, I want to respond to Honorable. The document I submitted, sir, does not have my signature. So the point on saying that it's a forged signature wouldn't count because it's not, my signature is not on the document. Secondly, regarding that email, both WMC...
I had two questions, don't answer one. There is another one. I asked you what are the circumstances that led to your departure and before the president brought you back.
Honorable, my letter says something else from what you're saying. So if what was part of it was that, it was unspoken. What is written in my letter is different. It has to do with performance. It doesn't say that it was Abavata or anything. So, Honorable, I wrote that email, as you can see, in September. Yesterday, Paul mentioned to you that the contract was terminated, and Solicitor General brought it, advised differently. When my CEO at the time wanted to cancel, I had to explain to him why he shouldn't. We had a discussion, and I was explaining to him that there's a process to how you cancel a government contract. You must do an evaluation, I must be involved as a contract manager, although I did not have a letter assigning me that role. But what I wanted was to safeguard the airline and himself from making a mistake of just cancelling. That is why I said to him, let it run, then do the performance evaluation. Yesterday, Paul explained that it was actually cancelled. My advice wasn't heeded. And then they went to Solicitor General, who advised differently. At the time, the person who was in Solicitor General was Mr. Bisere. And he also explained that they gave a process on how it should be done. And if that letter is read, that was written from Solicitor General, it kind of says what I was saying in there. I still say, sir, I was not part of the evaluation. I want to correct something. The documents we submitted, I submitted here. I did not see that there was an evaluation report at the time this contract was awarded, because I wasn't part of the evaluation. And that's why it wasn't signed by myself. That document you have, sir, doesn't have my signature. It has only one signature. Thank you, sir.
Okay, if you didn't sign it, but then it had marks attributable to you, and you're saying you saw them, but you're not the one who filled them in.
I only saw it when the file was brought for us to prepare for it.
Did you put a disclaimer?
Okay, let's move from that issue. I want to understand what you meant here. It's on this background that I preferred an agency experienced. You are talking about Abavata. In you writing to your CEO then, Conwell Mulia. It's on this background that I preferred an agency experienced with aviation and not too busy to manage our young airline that requires a lot of allocated time during the setup process. What did you mean by this?
So that statement was not towards Abavata. If you notice, I mentioned 3 companies. Those are the 3 companies that were invited. There was WMC. If you look at their documents, they've handled big airlines, British Airways. They were not busy at the time, I don't know now. Starleo was handling Emirates and some others, KQ, I think, they were not busy. And then Abavata had been handling Ethiopia. So I meant that the agency that will come to the airline should not be busy. That is why when I was being asked to correct the terms of reference by the procurement department, if you notice the email that is written, look at the process and all, it was clear that we should have an agency that is not busy since we are a startup. So that statement was not
Clarification. Clarification.
Okay.
Chair,
Just a
clarification.
Let me first clarify. Let's imagine you were speaking generally. But in speaking generally, yesterday we were talking about the process of how Abavata was hired. So you have admitted that all the 3 who were handpicked were good, they were not busy, they were going to be able to do the job. Eventually, the one that is hired is the most expensive one. Number 2, that one which is hired, the process was not followed. In fact, part of the process was forged. But as commercial director, who was contract manager for this contract, you did not raise an alarm. Why?
Honorable, I will repeat again. I was not part of the process that even evaluated. Yesterday I mentioned to you, I was not part of the negotiating team, and I wasn't part of the contracts committee. When the time was ready and they had a bidder who had won, I was informed by the procurement department that we have an agency now, and I didn't ask how or why, because I wasn't part of it. So.
Why? Because also you were part of the evaluation committee, but you said they did not invite you, which was an anomaly, I would think, because you would think, why aren't they inviting me, yet I am part of the evaluation team? That alone should have caused you to raise an alarm. Why didn't you raise it?
No, I didn't even know I was part of the evaluation team. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The document you have doesn't even have an email inviting me to this process. So at least if it was there and I'm coming here and saying there was no invitation, then you'd say that, Jennifer, you were there and you didn't sign. But I was not even invited, Honorable.
Okay. Yes, Honorable Roland.
Thank you, Chair. Madam Jennifer, you have written an email and you are saying this is the best, most experienced company. It is not busy. One, I wonder how you knew the internal operations of Bababata to know that they are not busy, first of all. Secondly, that email that you sent to the CEO alone shows that you were an interested party in Bababata, and you cannot run away from it, especially on that email alone. So I think, Chair, we need to get our way forward around this procurement, because we have seen that there were so many issues leading to the contract award, leading to, I don't know if during execution these guys even did the work, I don't know, that's another issue. But from initiation, you can see that there are issues. Direct procurement, which is not allowed. They go ahead, there is no evaluation report. Now she is insisting that she was trying to force an evaluation criteria in the evaluation process. Because when you say the one which is not busy, it means that one should have been put up in the evaluation criteria when they were doing evaluation, and it was not put. I'm not sure if that not being busy concept was in the evaluation criteria. I don't know, but it shows you that we are, this evaluation, this procurement is a problem. So I think, Chair, you need to, because we are not going, we may not finish, we have already got most of the information about it. I think we can move ahead with other issues, then we make our recommendation.
Cheers. Okay, so there's another email that I have.
In her own assertion that she submitted a document to the committee, but that document was availed to her by another officer from the same airline. She attempts to also to allege that the person who actually engaged in that particular transaction and crafting that document is not dead, exists somewhere, who I think this committee can also interact with. And three, she also alleges that she recommended 3 companies, not one, if I'm capturing it well. Would it be of interest to give her more time to elaborate in those areas? Because maybe we are asking too many questions before she can clarify. And we try to appreciate who is that person who was involved from her own submission. And it is right, if that was the only document available with them, it was right to submit it. Now, interrogating its accuracy becomes a key issue when we identify these anomalies, and also finding out who was engaged in this, if it is a forgery, then who forged against her. But again, submitting it as it was, I think is legit. But interrogating it further, I was praying, Chair, that before you go to the next email, we give her 3 more minutes to clarify what she wanted to mean from her side of submission, so that we can appreciate it and take an equitable position.
Okay, Honorable Bucket.
Chair, you are indicating that Madam Jennifer is recommending, is it Bavata, only one company. She is saying there is no way she's recommending one. She's recommending 3 that who are not busy. That's why we wanted to listen well in that email.
Okay.
Chair.